time for Growing Hope, the show determined to grow up hearts open to pursue the extraordinary. Because you are extraordinary! And now, it's your host, Catherine Lang.
Hello there. Welcome to Growing Hope. I am Catherine Lang, your voice of encouragement, face of encouragement, and all around encourager extraordinaire, because we need encouragement. We need to be infused with the courage to live our best life, to live our unique design, to recognize our unique voice, and to lean wholeheartedly into that uniqueness. Your voice is like no other voice on this planet. Your design is like no other person. Your path can only be walked out by you, and it can only be walked out in your way. And anytime we deviate from that uniqueness and focus or try to be like somebody else or try to walk somebody else's path, that's when we get into trouble. As long as we lean 100% into who we are, who we are designed to be, the things that weave together to make us our unique design, that's when we walk out our best life. That's when we change the world, because we become the light. We become the inspiration. We become the change that we want to see by living our unique design. And so we are on this journey to move from being tethered to the world to taking flight into our possibilities by keeping on. And today we're going to dare to speak our truth, because in order to keep on keeping on, you have to keep daring. So we're going to dare to speak our truth, your unique truth, not the truth somebody else tells you about. So you want to say it so others can hear it and so that you hear it. First, we're going to have intentional words. Second, we're going to write our words. Third, we're going to share our words. Fourth, we're going to recognize our triggers. And finally, we're going to find the clarity between pride and proud. Because it is okay to be proud of what you're doing. It is pride that trips you up. But if you're not speaking your truth, if you're not daily declaring your truth to others and to yourselves, then you'll forget it. It'll get lost in the noise. You'll get distracted and pursue other paths. You will find yourself 10 years later realizing that, hey, that was my truth all along. So we're going to speak our truth so that it remains our truth. We're going to set that foundation that keeps us from being distracted or being detoured around the truth that is us. I've mentioned before that I have been, always will be a natural born encourager. Encouragement is just a natural part of what I do. It is the air that I breathe. Rarely do I find myself in a place where I am not trying to be an encouragement. Trying is kind of a hard word. I am being an encouragement. Encouragement is flowing out of me. And it's because hope and joy are my leading forces. They're my foundation. Hope and joy are my foundation. And because hope and joy are my foundation, encouragement is my life. Until I got distracted and someone convinced me that you can't live a life through encouragement. Encouragement will not put food on the table. Encouragement will not make your way in the world. And I believed them, even though you had all these gurus around the world that were literally creating businesses based around motivation. They called it motivation. Encouragement. I was being told that I could not be an encourager in my journey. So I started pivoting to practical things. And when I pivoted to practical things, I lost my voice. But when I got back to this place where I was speaking my truth, I am an encourager. It was put on me and declared over me that I am the face of encouragement. I am the voice of encouragement. And man, I took hold of that and speak it daily. I am the voice of encouragement. I am the face of encouragement. I am an encourager extraordinaire. And the more I speak it, the more it settles me. It settles that foundation of hope and joy with the truth of my encouragement. So what I recommend, what I challenge you to do is to in order to get to that place where you're speaking your truth, is first you have to be intentional with your words. Intentional words determine intentional thoughts. What the eyes hear and the um, uh, ears, what the eyes see and the ears hear, because if it's the other way around, something's wrong. Then that's what settles into your heart. And what's settled into your heart is what you're speaking. So you need to be very intentional about the words that you're speaking out, about the words that you're doing, not emotion driven words, but in intention and purpose driven words. So when I am thinking about and focused on encouragement and how I want to be an encouragement and how to others and to myself, when encouragement is what is fueling my words, then that is what I speak. But when I get caught up in the emotions, I promise you the words that I speak are not encouraged words. Unless the emotions are joy and peace and comfort, then it's not encouragement that comes out. When I am angry or frustrated or upset, I can be mean. It's because I let the emotions drive. And anytime we let emotions drive, we're going to end up in a ditch. So if we're going to develop this practice of speaking our truth, not our thought of feelings, not our condemnations, but our truth. And that truth is that you are uniquely designed on purpose for a purpose. And your purpose matters. And you are an amazing creation that will change the world when you're walking it out. That's your truth. And how that truth looks is going to be unique to each of us. That's why we have to dare to believe, and we have to dare to know ourselves and to be able to walk out ourselves. When you know you, you can be you. And when you can be you, you can believe in all that you are. And when you can believe in all that you are, then you can walk it out. And as you're walking out it, you can continue to speak that truth. The second thing is that I strongly encourage you to write it out. Write out when those impactful moments happen, when you are walking out your truth, when you're speaking your truth, you're walking it out, you're living it out, you're being your best you. People are going to notice, and people are going to say things. People are going to say positive things, because remember, your positive uniqueness will begin to repel the negatives that want to discourage you. The more you lean into who you are, the more people who are not into that are going to walk away. But the more you'll be fed these positive affirmations. And when you encounter one of those positive affirmations, write it down. If it's not sent to you an email or direct message, write it down. If it's sent to you an email or direct message or even snail mail, keep it, print it out, post it somewhere. But get those words down, because it becomes easier to speak your truth when you're reading the truth from other places. It is affirming your focus. That it is not dictating your focus, it is affirming your focus. When you see that other people are noticing your truth, it solidifies your truth for you. And it makes it easier to stand strong when you do encounter those negatives. Because even though your uniqueness, leaning into that, is going to help repel the negatives, those negatives will still show up. They will still attack. When negatives attack, lean into your affirmations. The third thing to think about is that you need to be sharing with others. Um, what I mean by this is take time to share your testimony. You did not come into your truth overnight. When you accepted Christ as your personal savior, you did not wake up the next morning and go, ta-da, and all was great and wonderful. You had a journey to take. And people will respect your journey. Don't dwell where you were before, but show the growth that you took. And the reason you do that is you remember. Remember that you were and you are, so that you know you can. When you were here, you invested and grew here. That means you can continue to invest and get there. The sharing your truth through a testimony, by telling a story, or offer to be a guest on a radio or a podcast or a live stream. Because the more we share, the more that truth solidifies. The more we solidify the truth, the stronger that foundation grows. The stronger the foundation, the more we can stand firm against the attacks of the world. And the bolder we become in our journey. And trust me, the bolder you become, the more impact you have. And the more impact you have, the more forceful the attacks become. There may be less attacks, but they will be more forceful. And you need that solid foundation to stand against those attacks. And as you share with others, you solidify the truth, that foundational truth of who you are and where you're going and what you're doing. So look for opportunities or create opportunities to share your truth. The fourth thing is that in order to speak your truth, you need to start recognizing your triggers. And the triggers are those times, those things, those situations that push you into emotions. And the more you recognize the triggers, the quicker you can throw your armor up and get into a place of protective word guarding. Because when we hit a trigger, it is very easy to fall into old habits. Those triggers, that's why they're triggers. They get us to fire off at the mouth. And when we fire off at the mouth, we say things that we know are not true, but they are habit. They were things that we said habitually, other people said about us, or things that we have repeated in our heads so often that they're just easy. When we know what it is that triggers us into our negative space, then we can protect ourselves because we'll recognize those triggers when they happen. I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time talking to my family, particularly my spouse, and there are things that he can say that trigger me. And sometimes he knows it and he does it on purpose because we've known each other for so long. But there are things that he says that are my personal triggers. And I've only recently started recognizing, hey, that's not him, that's me. That is what he just said is not what I chose to hear because he flipped a trigger. And when you recognize those triggers, you can begin to adjust so that those triggers cannot cause you to fire off those negatives that you would have normally fired off. So take time to just sit down and become acutely aware of what it is that drives you away from your truth. What people, what situations, what TV shows, what music, what is it that drives you from your truth? And then formulate your plan to deal with those triggers when they show up. Or better yet, formulate a plan, if possible, to get away from those triggers so that you don't encounter them moving forward. The final thing to think about when you are daring to speak your truth is that you need to get to a place where you recognize there is a fundamental difference between pride and proud. You can be proud of your journey. You need to be proud of who you are, or you can't stand in it. You will begin to fade if you are not leaning 100% into your unique design. And since your unique design is based in love God first, love others second, you don't get tangled in the trap of selfishness. On the flip side of that, pride says, I am better. I am more. I have accomplished. And it really is a focus on self and self-centeredness and selfishness. It is not a concern about where is God taking me? What does God want? And how can I be a benefit and blessing to you and to others? It is all about me, 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 me. As a friend says, when you say me, it slams on the emergency eye brakes. And it just takes all the focus away from your truth. Your truth is not self-centered and self-focused. Your truth is fundamentally beyond you. And when you are proud, your focus is fundamentally on developing that truth to the point that is impactful for the benefit and blessings of the people that you encounter. When you are tangled up in pride, it is all about what I can get and how I can benefit. The eyes have it in pride. Hey, and the eye is in pride. Go figure. But in proud, there is no I. It is about the truth of who and whose you are. So be proud of whose and who you are and the uniqueness that is in you and the truth that nobody else is like you. Be proud of that. Stand tall in that. But don't let the I get in the way. The more that you develop this practice of speaking your truth and daring to speak your truth, the bolder you get in living your truth. And the more you lean into living your truth, the more prepared you are to deal with the world. Just because we've untethered from the world by learning how to grow from being a caterpillar to growing our wings and taking flight into our possibilities doesn't mean the world isn't going to keep trying to suck us back down. The world wants us in our limits and in the box that the world creates. Not even in our personal boxes, but in the box that the world creates. But the more you lean into who you are uniquely designed to be, and the more you dare to keep on keeping on and living your best life, the more your truth stands out and the more you take flight and the more difficult it is for the world to hold you down. So remember, speak intentional words, write out the words of affirmation that you hear, share your story with others, recognize your triggers and prepare a plan, and grasp the difference between being proud and caught in pride. Do these things and you will get to the place where you are daring to speak your truth. And more importantly, you're living it. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Growing Hope. I am so excited about this journey to live our uniqueness. And the more we do it, the less we apologize for it. And the more we stop apologizing and asking permission from other people about living our design, the bolder we get in living it. If you're struggling in any way to live out your uniqueness, connect with me today. We can schedule a free 20-minute call. Just head over to catherinelang.com. You'll see the button up in the sidebar. Click it and schedule, and we'll get started planning your path to your best life in your unique way. Until next time, remember that you have it in you to do whatever it is that you want to do if you keep on keeping on. Until next time, remember, be blessed. And in all that you're doing, be a blessing.
Thank you for joining us for Growing Hope with Catherine Lang, where we are sharing hope, encouragement, and inspiration to do more. Visit www.catherinelang.com to invite Catherine to be part of your event or to share your own stories of possibility living. Until next time, remember that a seed of hope planted and nurtured will grow up into a world of possibilities.